the workplace comedy returning? We've had movies like Office Space, we've had TV shows like The Office, Parks and Recreation, 30 Rock, Ally McBeal. We all do enjoy some workplace comedies because we all spend so much of our time at work, at least most people. You are at work probably almost more than you are at home. And when you're at work all the time, you're gonna see some weird shit going down. And that is why this type of comedy, this genre, has been so popular. It's something that we can all connect to. So is Don't Tell Larry joining the ranks of some of those great classic workplace comedies, or is this a movie that you won't want to tell your friends about? Let's discuss Don't Tell Larry. So Don't Tell Larry is about a woman who has aspirations of becoming her company's next CEO. She's regularly been Employee of the Month, her face is up there over and over again, so she is clearly a shoo-in for this position. But when her boss hires a new, socially awkward and strange guy named Larry, she decides not to invite him to the boss's new surprise retirement party, and from there, things just start getting awkward. Don't Tell Larry stars Patty Guggenheim, Kenneth Mosley, Keogh Kennedy, Ed Begley Jr., and Dot Marie Jones. From the very beginning of this movie, you can tell that this movie has very high aspirations. It wants to be one of those greats. It wants to be a cult classic. And there really is a lot of humor in this movie, and most of it is coming from the title character of Larry. Keogh Kennedy does such a great job bringing this hapless, awkward man to life. He's mysterious, he says strange and off-putting things, he clearly has some issues with attachment, and he just really is a spectacularly fascinating character. And although the movie is called Don't Tell Larry and his face is front and center on the poster, he really is not the primary character of this movie. He is treated as a secondary character because this movie mostly follows around Patty Guggenheim's character Susan and her friend Patrick. Yet if you ask me, the star of this movie is very clearly Larry. Also, I really enjoy saying the name Larry mostly because of that show Impractical Jokers. Check out this clip.
Larry. 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 Larry!
That show's funny. And one of the things that I really enjoyed about his character is how he was constantly doing and saying stuff that really did not help anyone's suspicions of him. He was totally sus. He was constantly doing very weird things, and it was just naturally trying to paint him as somebody that you're supposed to be like, what's going on with this guy? He's just off. With his weird obsession to raisins, to his overly clingy nature, this character is just somebody that you're gonna be like keeping an eye on, and yet he is amusing. As a matter of fact, even though this movie is trying to play him off as somebody that you're really not supposed to like too much, I actually found him to be the most interesting character in this film. And before I dive deep into the other bigger stars of this film, I really want to say that I found Heath Allyn to be really amusing in this movie. His comedic timing was perfect, and Dot Marie Jones, she's somebody that when you see her on screen, you're like, I know this lady. I know her. I don't know her name, but I've seen her in things and I really like her. And I was really feeling that when I saw her in this movie. I was really glad to see her. She did a stellar job as she always does. And now maybe I will actually make a point to remember her name. And you should too. Because every time I see her in something, she really never disappoints. But what did disappoint me about this movie is how I ended up feeling about Patty Guggenheim's character, Susan. And although Patty Guggenheim does an ultimately great job playing this character, her character in the end was totally unlikable. As an actor, I think she did a solid job. She's got all the charisma of Juno Temple from Ted Lasso. You know, I just kept thinking that. I'm comparing her because not only does she kind of look like her, but her personality was kind of like Keeley from Ted Lasso. But unlike Keeley, who is really cute and innocent and easy to root for, Susan in this movie is quite the opposite of all that. And I know it's not uncommon these days to have movies and TV shows where we're following around morally ambiguous characters. A lot of us really do get a big kick out of following the bad guy. That's why people were so into Breaking Bad. That's why Dexter is now on its third spinoff. People like morally ambiguous characters, but I just felt like with this character, with Susan, Susan, I just felt more often than not that she was just annoying. Now, I will say a saving grace in this movie with her character is her chemistry with Patrick, played by Kenneth Mosley. These two are the driving force in this movie. They are the dynamic duo of the story, and their scenes together really, really work. Kenneth Mosley does a fantastic job with his character of Patrick. Patrick is that funny, sassy gay guy, and although there's a lot of people in this country that decide that they take an issue with who their neighbor is fucking, he has an energy that is undeniably easy to watch. You see a person like him, you see an energy like that, and you're going to feel just a little bit less like a grouchy asshole. It's that extreme glow of positivity that he has. You know, sometimes it's hiding beneath the surface because he is frustrated with some of the decisions that Susan is making, but overall, he still has that glow of positivity to him. And that's what makes this movie and Susan's character feel tolerable. But the very fact that I was not enjoying this main character about the midway point of this movie just made the rest of this movie from that point on start to feel like kind of a drag. And the longer I felt like that, the less I was laughing. And then the comedy aspect of this workplace comedy was just gone. And by the way, just for context, I did smoke a little bit of weed before I watched this movie because this is a comedy, you know. It is best to be totally chill, totally relaxed. So I'm like, let's smoke a little doobie, let's get a beer, let's laugh. But those laughs started slowly tapering off when I realized that I hated this main character and it didn't really matter. In fact, she ruined my high. While I was watching this movie, I kept thinking to myself, oh my god, did they get Danny Elfman to score this movie? It turns out it wasn't, but it's someone who clearly has a love for Danny Elfman because there is some serious Danny Elfman elements going on in this movie's score. And at times, I really enjoyed the movie's score, but much like this movie, it felt a little bit scrambled and all over the place. The music would go from being, you know, comedy style to that Danny Elfman, Tim Burton collaboration. Comedy, Danny Elfman. Comedy, Danny Elfman. And I'm like, okay, what's going on with this musical score? What is the overall tone that I'm supposed to be taking from it? Because at times it felt like the musical score actually just belonged in a different movie. And I know that this is something that most people are not going to care about, but I am someone that regularly listens to movie scores, so this does stand out to me, and it did bother me. Now, one thing that is kind of fascinating and interesting about this movie is that director and writers Greg Porper and John Schmick actually have told this exact story before. When I looked at their IMDb page, it says that they have actually told this story in a TV show format way back in 2018, and they even had the exact same Larry, so clearly these people are friends. I do think it's really cool when something that is a short or something mini gets turned into a full-length feature. It's happened before. That movie, Night Swim, that started out as a short, and then it became a full-length movie. It happens pretty regularly. It's pretty satisfying to see if it works out. But in this instance, I just don't think that that concept that they thought was going to translate well over into a full-length movie really worked out that well. As a matter of fact, I know that they already made this as a TV show, but I think that this would have been even better as a TV show. It could have been a longer TV show, 10 episodes long, use this same cast, use 30-minute formula. That would have worked out really well, and I think it would have overall flowed better. It would have given them more time to write some good comedy, flesh out these characters, make me care about them a little bit more, because in this short time that they had with this runtime, I didn't really laugh nearly as much as I wanted. I didn't really like the main character because she was kind of a bitch, and I just overall felt like it was not as funny as it was supposed to be. So for me, unfortunately, this movie is a 5 out of 10. Would I rewatch this movie? No. Would I tell my best friend that I know is really into comedies to watch this movie? Also no. It's a decent way to spend some time, but I'm not going to be remembering this movie in a couple of days. It is just ultimately quite forgettable, unfortunately. But if you are curious to give this movie a try, because I am going to be honest, I am extremely difficult to please when it comes to comedy, so there's a very good chance that you're going to like this movie even more than I did. Well, now I'm telling you, you can check this movie out on Amazon and Apple, and also in select theaters. So give this movie a try, check it out for yourself, and when you do see it, please put your thoughts on it in the comments so I can hash it out with you guys. We can see, am I way off? Do you think I'm being overly critical? Or do you kind of agree that this movie just wasn't all it was really trying to be? If you liked this video, go ahead and hit the like button to let me know that you liked it. And if you want to hear more things from me, please subscribe to this channel. Later.